Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Listening to Wes all gassed up here as the intro. Pedro and I will be with you in just a moment. Weird feed going on here. All right, good morning, everybody. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another great episode of this show, DYOR Live here. August 28th, 2025. We got a lot going on today. BTC still going sideways. Alt's not doing anything except what, ladies and gentlemen? Except Crow. That's right, Crow. Booming last night on the Space Lounge. We watched it boom live. When we thought it was going to be dying and selling off, it went up again, hit some more local highs of 38 cents. Big news also in the, Pedro, if you recall it. Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host Pedro Garcia in the house.
What up, baby? What up?
Pedro, Tornado Cash developer, got prosecuted by the United States for all kinds of bad things. Got off on many of the illegal charges, except money transmitting and not following anti-money laundering rules because of the money transmitting thing. Kind of BS stuff that sounds like it comes out of New York. But anyway, Tornado Cash just dropped Solana just dropped $500,000 US for his defense and his appeal. And they're talking about bringing it all the way to the Supreme Court because this is a free speech issue, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, as you may suspect, I agree with that. Also,
Absolutely.
Pedro, big news, stuff that you and I have been talking about for ages and ages and ages, labor statistics. And I brought up the fact, how can they fake this stuff? How can they fake this? You're like, of course they can. Of course they can. Today, the U.S. government is talking about putting it on the blockchain, all the data on it. So no more transparency issues, and put it on the blockchain. Part of the hashtag GovFi effort in pushing open data out to the people. If they put that data out there, people will write apps out there to have the information will be live. There'll be no more releasing it at a certain date. It'll just be live. And
check
that's
it out.
What we need.
See what's going on in your face, just all day long. Say what you
and if there's live stuff on the blockchain, that means you can arbitrage it. You'll be able to trade that stuff.
Bro, that is going to be crazy. Like, dude, that in itself, this is the part that I'm so excited about, is that, one, it will give correct data analysis, but most important, that you can trade it. I mean, Poly Market is about to explode. I mean, we'll probably see 5-6 Poly Markets out there that will arbitrage the difference, and there will be charts, and I'll be like nerding out going, let's go.
It will be epic. The more open data, as I've said before on this show, Chicago did an effort with that. They didn't put the city budget or anything like that on it. What they did was they put the locations of the snow plows on it, on the GPS. They made that all public, and people wrote apps to show which streets got plowed more, which streets didn't, correlated where political people live to their street and how they get plowed more than other people, and it fixed the whole snowplow thing in the city of Chicago. So if we can do that with the U.S. government, great. Also, the government of the Philippines, Pedro. Government of the Philippines. I don't know if you've done any work with the government of Philippines. I have in the past. I did a lot of work. I've done a lot of work in that country. Let's just say a lot of parts of the Philippines are done in the old-fashioned family way of business. You know, you gotta do a little grease here and there, that type of stuff.
I have a friend over here. I'll make you
Right, prevented us Americans from doing a lot of business there, especially in government contracting, because there's strict laws against the U.S. doing that, participating in that, except for just the usual things to get permits and that kind of stuff. But the Philippines is also saying, let's just put the whole budget on the blockchain and be done with this hiding and Freedom of Information Act stuff, their version of it. Let's get it on the blockchain. Let's see what we can do. Do I think that'll ultimately happen in my lifetime? No. But there are people pushing for it to end corruption. So that's a start. The GovFi effort blowing up in everyone's face today. It's a good deal. What else is a good deal? The market's not doing a lot today. Tomorrow is the big, consumer numbers that show inflation and consumption and all that stuff. Pedro, I guess, will talk more about that because I keep getting it wrong on what the number actually is. But first, of course, as always, let's head over to the B, the T, and the C. And the C, what's up with the idiot box that it's been in the past couple of days?
All righty, guys. Good. That was a good.
Sorry, that's my screen.
There we go. It's all good.
Oh, yeah. What I had was you can't see it on the bottom here. The Chiron says U.S. puts GDP data on the blockchain.
That's awesome. And I think seeing it there, and this is the part that I love about it. One thing about Americans, right? Like, once we see the problem and it's in our face, like, it irritates us. Like, it's real. Like, the irritation is real. And we start to nitpick. This is why I think our government, out of any nation in the world, I feel like we are more nitpickers, and our mindset is more of an entrepreneurial mindset. And so that idea of, if we can see it and it's in our face, really, and we can sit there just like the debt, like everybody, like they hate the debt, there's nothing to do about it. But once you start seeing the numbers that correlate there, then we start the nitpicking. And then people start writing apps. And like you said, like they're just like with the whole entire Chicago thing, then we start finding out where the real money's going. And we're like, wait. If we allocate this to this, and this is only giving us like negative percentage growth, and we move this to here, and then kind of allocate it for here, this we're going to get 5-10% growth, and then that circles right back. We can feed that into this that has negative growth, and it changes things around. This is what I'm excited about. We can get that going. All of a sudden, it changes the landscape of where we're at. And then Americans become like in the 1970s of, instead of ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And this is when all of a sudden it changes the mindset. And this younger generation, dude, I've heard a lot of them are starting to become more conservative. So if we see this generation, Z and Alpha, come in as a conservative nation, and then maybe in the next 20 years, I mean, who knows? And again, I'm not for conservative sake for like holding down this ideology of, the reason why I say is we know that conservative values many times allow for prosperous growth in the early sense of either a struggling economy because people are more conservative with their money. They want to build more business and family oriented mindsets, which then causes fiscal growth. So this will be something that's going to be really interesting to see over the next 5 to 10 years as that debt really is screaming towards America's demise. So with that said, as Tom said, BTC X Bonanza, or is this truly Bonanza? Okay. I just heard the song in my head, bro, with that.
Welcome Chuck Jansen to the show. Yes, long time no see, right? Chuck spent the evening with me on the Space Lounge.
You haven't told me you were going live, bro. I could have gone. You should have just said, hey, Pedro, I'm live right now. I'd been like, oh, dude, let's jam on it. All right. I just figured with that busy social schedule of yours that you had the night planned with limos and bottle service at the clubs, Pedro. To be honest, I don't even know what the fuck bottle service means. I've never done it. Like, someone talked to me and said once, and they said, well, it's when you get a table and then they just bring the booze right to your table. And then it costs you everything you've earned over the past 3 months. I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, it doesn't. makes sense.
Anyway, speaking of bottle service, what is the Bitcoin service today?
Yeah. All right. So Bitcoin has really been, I'm actually kind of excited that we're finally kind of coming down off of this top. I thought we were going to come down here and hit these levels, but again, they took the liquidity, they pushed it back up. I'm going to start calling this the, how do I want to call it? The Solana effect. And this happens actually quite a bit in crypto, which I think is so interesting. Not so much in traditional finance, but I'm definitely noticing more in crypto. And I was actually looking at this last night and analyzing how we actually topped up, pulled all that liquidity, and then sold off and grabbed the liquidity here. One being that, a lot of the novices now, many of us have bought so low at these lower levels. 15, 10,000 or 15, 16,000, 18,000, 30,000 that we're not necessarily buying now. The people who are buying are the people late to the party here, i.e., a lot of the institutions, they finally now have an open, a carte blanche ticket to go ahead. Did I use that right? A carte blanche ticket, yes. Or have carte blanche.
Yeah, it's a Frenchy. It's a Frenchy thing.
Carte blanche. They have a carte blanche. Am I saying that? Carte blanche. Carte blanche.
CARTE BLACHE. BLANCE. Carte blanche. You have to shrug your shoulders and pretend you're pissed off and smoking. You need the carte blanche.
Hey, it has carte blanche to get into the BTC here at Bitcoin. And the backside behind it is that there's not enough liquidity for them. So it's like they've now got to play off each other at these higher levels. And yes, we're not seeing the normies jump in as well. They still aren't going into the blockchain. They're still not buying the actual Bitcoin right now. So we're kind of seeing it play around. And I was trying to understand, why are they seeking liquidity so much right now? And then I realized, I was like, oh, the novices aren't running in yet, per se, like the normies coming in. And so, we have our diehards, diehards are going to wait until the price comes in down maybe at that 100,000 or potentially, dare I say, a pullback even to 80 or 75,000. That would be crazy. Maybe not. I think we're going to see more at that 107, 100 mark, and then potentially see it continue back up to the next leg. Now, I am saddened and my heart is broken because I did say to everybody, I'm expecting this month for us to see an extended candle. And I was wrong. Bob. I was wrong.
Extended on what side?
On the monthly candle to the upside versus down to the downside. I said, I think we're going to get up to that 140,000. And right now we're still ranging 110, 120. And so I want to be the first one to say I had that wrong. And there we go. And so with that said though, if we finish with us above 115 this month, 115, and I want to see this monthly candle because we're coming up to the monthly end, right? And we're coming up to our third quarter, going into the fourth quarter here, right, of the year. And so that's going to change our view of what's actually happening. It's, we have September coming in and the next one is October. So if we can close above the 111 to 115 area, 111 being above where we're sitting at for the 3 month, and then 115 above the monthly, we are going to see, I think, again, this is all probability, but institutions sit there and say, all right, we have real demand coming in. This will be a base at these lower levels, or to me, there will be lower levels there as a base as we see an extended candle out to 140, 160, 200, 240, or 250, 300,000 as we move into the next quarter, which is typically the firework quarters. So for crypto, where we expect, all of our gains are made here in these next 3 months, where it's just like, let's go, whoop, whoop, simmer down now. Just like that. Anyways, so this is what I'm expecting right now. We're seeing The numbers here right now on the monthly, we're sitting around that 113. I want to see us close this month around, what is the high here so I can make sure, or this number here in particular. We want to see it close above that 115,940, and that's basically the open of the month for that candle. That's what we're looking at. We want to make sure, and I'm cool with us like basically having an extended demand wick on a doji, right? So this would basically be just a big doji with a bunch of bigger wicks than usual. And the key point to look at is this, is that it just acts more as indecision. And if we can close green on that, that bodes well for us and shows just higher amount of volume coming in. So we're going to wait and see. We've got, I think, how many we got? It's 31 days or 30 days in the month. Yeah, 31 days. So we still got 4 or 3 more days until this thing pops like it's hot, and we get to see this thing go if it does. Now again,
Ka-ching in the house. Welcome Ka-ching to the show.
Ka-ching, let's go. Ka-ching, ka-ching. What's up, brother? Good to have you, homie.
Ka-ching coming to us from Minnesota there. Hope nobody you knew got involved in that mess that was there. And hopefully you can help get your state straight with some mental health issues, because clearly there's mental health problems going on like everywhere else, but they seem to be focused, a lot of them migrating to Minneapolis. Terrible thing there. Terrible. But your state's attracting them. And apparently your state's attracting people from California too, so it's not going to get any better. Anyway, side story aside, Pedro, after you get done with your Bitcoin thing, I'm going to tell you what my Bitcoin thing was and how it didn't work this week.
It's okay. So one of the things that I want to bring up here, and I think it's important to pay attention to, is as now we're looking at the daily, we're actually seeing just volume overall. You can see that we're seeing seller volume kind of kick in right up in these levels here. And as we're taking liquidity from these levels here, you can see that it's not bringing a lot in. As we're hitting these ones right here, it's not bringing a lot of liquidity. You can see as we hit it, we didn't see it increase in a lot of volume. So what does that mean? That means that potentially we're going to see most likely this thing go down lower, right? If the only thing I could see here is if we see this market increase, if we see the amount of volume and we close above this 8-period moving average today, there's a lot of circles there. So I apologize if you guys get confused. If we can close above this and we can see an increase in volume that gets above the average volume here, then this is going to be an indication of definitely some momentum going, and we could see it go up. But I highly doubt it because we're not seeing the volume already, and the day is already halfway done. So right. I think we're definitely going to see it kind of fizzle out here, and it's going to come back down to that 107 here, which is what we've been talking about. You're right. There we go, bro. Get it. Woo, woo, Arsenio. Woo, 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 woo.
I gotta be making more O faces.
What do I do with these? What do I do with these? I don't know. Just come up here. I don't know what to do. All right.
Oh, Pedro. This week, let's go over to my screen here. This week has been the week that I tried to just put a little thinking through the week and what was going on here.
Okay, I love
it. With it. I haven't done a lot of this analysis of the whole week. I've given, what I do is, like you tell me, we start with the same time period. So I generally start with the day, because, the past 6 days haven't changed at all. And so I'll look at the week here and now and then, that type of stuff. But this time is the first time I said, let's look at the week and see how it's going to play out, all things considered. Let's see if we can put a plan together as this thing evolves. In my plan, let me see if I can draw on the old screen here. My plan was watching it Monday. We had the open on Monday right here, and it's not very big on my chart, so you can't really see it. But on Monday, it came down, traded almost right from the open, from at least midnight time, traded down, and then just came up a little bit, touched the open price, and then finished the day quite low. And what you always tell me, starts the week, if it's trading down, beginning of the week, it's going to likely, not always, likely going to finish up at the end of the week. And so I took that into play. Monday, there was no doubt about it. It traded down the whole day. And so on Tuesday, I looked at it, I said, all right, now what we have to see is make a plan for two things. One, you've been talking about that level at 107 for quite some time. Bookmap still shows stuff down there too. And so volume isn't coming up. So I said to myself, all right, there's a better than none chance of it going down to 107. And I've been talking about this play out on all the space lounges this week. Just kind of going over it because it gives me something to kind of talk through and practice here. And for those of you new at this, watching our show, I'm new at this and I'm learning my way through this. So I figured at some point Tuesday there would be a rise back up to the 110, 111, 112 area. I got a little bit of that on Tuesday here. It came back up, and I thought to myself, all right, now it needs to come back down to the 107, and I was looking for that to happen on Wednesday here. I was looking for, frankly, after watching it come up, I was like, all right, before it goes down, they push it up to dump it. For the liquidity sweep, they push it up, clear out all those stops up there, and then dump it. And then on Monday morning, it started to go down a little bit, but it didn't have the volume, didn't have the momentum, and I was like, oh rats. Okay, I'm going to push this out, and see if it's going to dump down later Wednesday or early Thursday, so we can get that rise up before either late Thursday or early in Asia time before the PCE numbers come out, or something like that. So I was planning on it going up and then down, and then on Friday or Thursday going up like that. And the plan was working out until about Wednesday morning. We're about the middle of Wednesday, and we didn't get the liquidity sweep, and I'm still waiting for it. Like you said, the day's getting long here, and you just said that the volume wasn't there. The daily candle is likely to come back down, but what I'm looking for is I'm looking for that sweep back down to 107, or at least a big end of the week sweep to go down before they blast it off to finish Friday strong. My plan was going well. I got at least 3 days through the week in which it made sense. And now Thursday, it is just going, as you can see here on Thursday, it's going up here, and then there's a little flag here. It's probably going to hang out there for a while. But I am looking to see my plan to come to fruition. I'm looking for that dump here today. I was looking for the big dump down to 107. Now maybe just down to 111, 110, or I can't remember I was typing on some social media when you were going over the point where you thought it was going to go down to. And so that was my week outlook. And even though it didn't go according to plan, because to think that any trader could actually predict exactly how the week's going to go starting on Monday. But that Monday dump was just a great sign of how the week may shape out. Or shape up, I should say. And so from my perspective, I was kind of proud that at least for part of the week, it held my plan. It still could hold the plan. May not. The odds are showing, as the time goes on here, the odds are showing that it's not going to hold my plan. But anyway, I was happy at least doing that exercise in trying to give some if-thens by following the rules. You know, it's going to go down, but in order for it to go down, it has to go up a little bit first, blah, blah, blah. Starts the week here, should finish the week here, and that type of stuff. So that was the exercise I was doing all week, and talking about that on kind of at length on Space Lounge, and not, pontificating about it, just kind of say, all right, let's walk through it. If I want it to go down to 107 or 108, somewhere in that area, it needs to have a big liquidity sweep now to do it. But in order to do that, it had to have a little up first or a consolidation of some point, and then so it was fun for me to do that. And first of all, it gave me a lot to talk about because I'm just sitting there figuring stuff out. and I find that the audience likes that too when you're learning. Let's see, who is I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but we'll say Eugenia. Is that someone you know?
Spanish. That is definitely Spanish somewhere. Well, hello, Eugenio. ¿Qué pasa? Or
wherever you're from. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. If that's a random name there, let us know. If there's a proper pronunciation of it, let us know too.
And let us know how you found us, and tell us about your thoughts on crypto, or tell us what you think about the show. Do you enjoy it, or are you one of our other viewers? Anyways,
that's too many questions right away. Welcome to the show. Feel free. We're an interactive show here, and we're a good community here. If you want to join it, just start chatting, and Pedro and I will talk to you, and the people in the comments will talk to you too. Thanks for joining us. Anyway, so Pedro, that was my plan this week. There's still a day and a half left in my plan here. Obviously, this number's coming out tomorrow. It could be really bad, the numbers tomorrow. Not likely. The government's or the news is reporting that the economy grew at 3.3% again. So, the jobless numbers weren't that bad. The economy growing. That, the only bad news right now is just this whole business with the lady with the Fed, which I don't understand at all.
How do you not know?
No. I mean, let me put it through my lens. This lady is sitting up there like, who does Trump think he is? He is not should firing me, blah, 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 blah. If I were her, if I was a smart person, because when the president and the government starts poking into your stuff, they're going to find something.
Yes,
they're going to find something. They're like, oh, you had a parking ticket in that jurisdiction. If you don't pay it after 25 years, it's a felony, right? They'll find something. Yes. If you're a smart cookie, she's already been the president of the Fed or governor of the Fed in her district for a while. Why hold on by your fingernails? Why not go to the Trump, say, Mr. Trump, let's have a discussion. You need something, and I would like something in return. I mean, she's sitting on a gold mine. Like, she can sell that seat for a big, cushy government job. Oh, really, Mr. President? You need this seat? I'd be happy to resign. But, then I wouldn't have a job. I need at least
a job.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? I need a portfolio manager at the Trump organization that just needs to work 1 day a month, and we'll pay $1.5 million a year. Done. I resign. You know what? I understand, Mr. Trump. The mortgage thing is a little messy, but there's nothing there anyway. And he apologizes. Yeah, I got a little crazy, but my time has come to an end, and now I'm going to go work for the Trump organization and make millions. These people that hold on, they think he can't take, and now she's spending. The news was talking about how she hired a firm that their retainer is $100,000.
Yeah.
So she's already out $100K now, and she's like, I'm gonna do this and stuff like that. I'm making a stereotype here, but that was actually her on the news. They didn't have her talking, but they made her doing shaking. And so it's like, make a deal. This is gold. These hoppers never let a good crisis go to waste. This is a deal time. Instead, all she's going to do is end up sitting at home pissed off because she'll end up losing her job. The Supreme Court will rule like something like, they'll be like, well, the president can't fire, unless there's cause, but the president can determine what the cause is, and then she'll be sitting at home and getting nothing.
Well, she's hoping that, the Supreme Court's going to win, but she's hoping the Supreme Court will lean towards her side because, Trump hasn't had the best connection there, even though he appointed some of the depending on what Supreme Court Supreme Court, that's Kavanaugh, right? Kavanaugh, and then who would?
Yeah, I mean, that's besides the point. The point is, is that she is already sued. Trump hasn't actually fired her yet. She has not received any sort of letter saying you're fired for cause or what that cause is. She's already sued the government. So she's out the money. She's making a big stink. All she should have done was just say, hey, what can I get out of this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And she made the classic mistake of letting your ego get in front of your mouth.
It's principle though. It's really principle more, I think, for her of just the alt
Screw
left.
that shit.
You know, the alt left and trying to like hold on to that mindset of wokeism, and she's
why get to the end of your career and be miserable? Why get to the end of your career and go and have lawyers and have to fight? She could be the rest of her career now. She's already a successful banker. The rest of her career, she can be sitting on a beach hitting an check email button. Nope, no emails today. No emails today. No emails today.
Yeah. On a nice little
Crypto Mike in the house. Thanks for joining us, Crypto Mike. Our brother from Manitoba.
What up, brother? It's good to have you. Also on the back end, as you guys are looking at the
commercials.
Oh yeah, we probably should do commercials. Do you wanna do that now, or do you wanna wait?
I'm going to wait at least 5 minutes.
All right, perfect. All right, put the timer on the thing. Anyways, so I wanted to bring up here real quick. I thought this was really interesting. So it happened yesterday, but basically EU proposed, and I think this is something to really pay attention to, because look, it's a different story of like he's got people not liking him, right? Trump, like it's and he's not making any real headway. You can sit there and fight that type of president, okay? Just being honest, right? Like first term president Trump. You can fight that. But the second term president, when the man tells Europe, hey, I want you to take off all the tariffs on us, and then they finally do it, EU proposes removing all tariffs on US industry goods to meet President Trump's demand, you need to pay attention. Like, you're not, like, if the rest of the world is starting to toe the line there, you need to understand who you're going against. Like, you can't fight a tsunami, tsunami. What's the thing that comes in and everybody?
Tsunami.
And in the same sense, I feel like, look, you may not agree with the man's politics or whatever, but if the majority of the world is towing the line with him, you're not gonna have much push against that. And even if you think it's against your values and thought process, this is not the time to fight that. Like that, it's just silly to sit there trying to like play that balance or it's not even a balance. You're trying to play against him and he's winning. You don't take on a line when he's confident, right? And especially when he's getting stride. And so that's what I'm saying. Like be smart. Like if you're going to take somebody out, try to do it, you need to do it smartly. And especially when you're trying to take on a lion head on, you're just going to get eaten. And then, and they'll sit there and like, and so, I mean, you need to be wise, you need to be smart in how you interact. Now, a lot of her policies and how she looks at the world is different than how I see the world. But I also understand, like, look, she also has values. She's a smart woman. She's not dumb. So like bring some of those skill sets in a way and deploy them in a way where it could be beneficial for her side of the way, her side in the way she is trying to move things. And so, that's a long story short. I just thought that was really interesting relationship. Also, many people thinking, this is a news story, Hal Finney was really the man who wrote and designed Bitcoin. There's a huge whole entire movement there.
Sure.
Last year.
Unprovable since he's dead.
Yeah, literally. And when did somebody tied, literally, there was that whole entire movement where, like, when he died, that's when Satoshi Nakamoto stopped posting, right?
I just am not any good with the history of Bitcoin back in that era.
Well, it doesn't matter. I was just saying, 11 years ago, yesterday, he passed away. So the other thing I thought was really interesting is Link. Since Link, and you talked about this last week, or excuse me, a few minutes ago, Link basically got a nice little bump by the U.S. government, and that they're going to be tasked with really putting all the information of the macroeconomic data on chain. And I thought that was really cool that they picked Chainlink, like the OG, like real blockchain. Not to say that all the other blockchains aren't, real, but I just, like, if you're going to pick one, if you're going to pick a blockchain.
Actually, they didn't pick one. I think they're just starting with them. They said they would put it on 9 blockchains. They would make it chain agnostic.
Really? I did not know that. I thought it was just primarily Chainlink. So that is.
No, this is early on. The digital council is probably like, let's figure it out. I'm sure our sponsor Audit Chain. This is what they do: put financial data. In the immutable blockchains and that type of stuff. Hopefully they'll be a little involved with that. But Chainlink being the start, and I think they'll put it on. It's just data. All you need is a script to put it on. You can put it on 1,000 blockchains, anytime you want.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. It wouldn't even be that hard, because all you got to do is just you take the data and you open it up. The part that, like I said, I'm excited about is the actual active data, being able to tap in, and you can just literally on a daily basis, you upload your data from your PC, whatever, government work or whatever, and it just syncs. And all of a sudden it's like, in time what's actually happening in the government and where monies are going and how they're being allocated, and also how, I think, which is the coolest thing, what is actually happening with the data, like government housing, right, or private housing, and what's actually happening here. Are these certain areas here, are they false? This is weird that you have this new number.
Well, this is what Trueflation does, and I'm trying to get those guys to come on the show. We met them at the Blockchain Futures Convention.
Oh yeah, I remember
in 2025 or this year in Toronto, and that's what they do. They run nodes and they validate the information that's true or not. Other data that tries to get revised or corrected has to have a consensus and that type of stuff. The era of GovFi is coming, in which if this is successful, then probably the new director of the Bureau of Labor Statistics would be like, let's just get all this shit on the blockchain and do an experiment, put it all out there, see how it goes, let people write apps. There'll be all kinds of apps. There'll be apps verifying that other apps are doing it right and all this type of stuff. It will be, as they say, it will be a good thing, Martha. But anyway, Pedro, it is that time.
It is that time.
Let me look for the sports ones. Nope, we're just gonna go. We're gonna go with the coolers today. Coolers.
Let's go coolers.
All right, everybody over on YouTube and X and all those other places. We're gonna go to a commercial, so bear with us. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna step.
857. The markets, the Dow Jones up 27, S&P 500 up 11, NASDAQ up 90, Russell 2000 up $2.50. That's it. And the VIX is unchanged today. In other words, not a lot moving on today. Remember, tomorrow is a big day for numbers coming out. PCE's coming out. The forecast, let's go to the forecast for core price index. The forecast as previous was a 3% rise. Forecast is a 3% rise. And that comes out at 8:30 Eastern time tomorrow. In the markets, really until that number comes out, the week has been kind of a mess. Like I was talking about in my Bitcoin talk. Here, wrong chart. This one, I'm waiting for the big. Oh, look, it's starting to dump. Oh, look, there could be good news here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the 10-minute chart here, and it's approaching the 200 period moving average. And if we can dump down below that, that's a big thing. That would be good. I don't want it to bounce off that because if it bounces off that, it's another 2 hours before it'll come back to it. But we need it to drop through it. Looks like it's going to drop through it right about now. Let's check the 15-minute chart. That's a more highly watched chart. And we are only 300 points away from breaking down through this. If you're a new viewer, you may be sitting here, oh my God, I turned into a doom and gloom guy. Why is he hoping Bitcoin is going down? I'm hoping it's going down because I want it to finish on a big upsurge at the end of the week. And as we all know, and Pedro beats into our heads, it needs to go down before it goes up. As always, you see a liquidity sweep. The market makers and the big institutions take out all of the shorts down, or all of the longs down there, bust them out, clear all those orders out, and then grab the liquidity pool that's down there where they can place big orders and turn the market around and go in their favor. I know it's a little confusing talking about that. Something I didn't get for a long time. You just assume that people can just buy and the market goes up. But it's not actually how it works. If big orders come in where there's no liquidity, there has to. If BlackRock wants to come in and buy $100 billion worth of Bitcoin, they can't just go to the market and buy it. It will roil the market. It'll be a huge mess. They have to plan for it, and they also have to find a liquidity pool of $100 billion or whatever the number is that can absorb that. And if that's lower, they and other institutions need to bring the price down to do that. And one of the ways they signal that is just putting in orders. Say, we're going to buy when the price action comes down here. And guess what happens? The price action goes there. That's how it happens. Anyway, thanks to everybody that's watching us on, we're on Rumble today. We're on Twitch. We're on X. Thank you, X viewers. Elon's working on the streaming on X. It's not great yet. Still, the views are very short. They need to have a little window up on the side here so that you can retain viewers. But the LinkedIn, we're supposed to be on LinkedIn today. Been getting some good viewers over there, but the LinkedIn system crashed on me today, so nope, not today. But especially want to thank everybody for watching us on Rumble. It makes a big difference. And for those of you, even you loyal viewers, drop a comment or two so we can keep the comment machine going here. I think I don't have the screen up, but I think I see Mr. Pedro, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro, I was just talking about Bitcoin. As I said, I was hoping it was going to dump down today. You were talking about how the daily candle looked like it had weakness in it. And as we were talking, this is the 15-minute chart, starting to approach the 200 period moving average. If we can see that thing dump down below that 200 period moving average, I think we're going to have a lot of blood on our hands.
Do me a favor.
Yes,
go to your 1 hour chart.
1 hour chart coming up.
How many hours are you behind me, if you don't mind me asking? 2.
I'm about half.
You're at?
2. I'm in the Eastern time, so I'm in UTC -4.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're still in Canada. Okay. I thought you were in Chicago. So, okay. So
It's a 1 hour chart. Is that what you said?
Yep, go to the 1 hour chart, 60-minute chart. Go to your 60-minute, and what I want you to do is, your 60-minute, and what I want you to do is, I want you to see something real quick. Okay. So you can see here that we had that sell-off for BTC here, and we just cleared through this liquidity area right here. Right, this is the liquidity that's just coming in. Right, this is where we saw come in, and it closed pretty strong. Right here, you can see that it definitely closed below the low here. And looking at that, is this area here an area that we could see a pullback as well? Right, because anytime we have a liquidity pull, what do we typically see?
Hold on, my chart looks different than yours.
Oh, I apologize. This is Ethereum. This is Ethereum. Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, I apologize. All right. So, in the same sense, right, you can see here, this is the hour chart. We just closed below here. There's liquidity here on the hour chart. And if I'm seeing this first go down and it's the beginning of the hour, right? And it's going down first, it will most likely finish kind of up, right? And so I would want to first, if I'm looking to take that short, which I would be, absolutely, and you've got the right mindset, I think you want to first wait for a pullback instead of a follow through, and understanding that there is a nuanced difference here that's important to pay attention. It's the difference between when somebody is, and when a girl says, "Oh, he's nice," and smiles, and versus, "Oh, he's nice," and doesn't necessarily smile. Right. Same word, big meaning, big difference in the meaning. Okay. For me, if I see a market first go down in the beginning of the hour, it's telling me that it most likely wants to go up. Now, it may not. It may continue down, but on average, right, from a statistical standpoint, I want to first see it go kind of up first for myself into an area of supply for myself so that I can gauge if it's going to go down. If it goes down first, most likely it's going to go up. But again, you don't know, we don't know, but that's typically how I look at it. And so since it was the beginning of the hour, I want to say, you might want to be careful. But it might look like it may continue to go down. So, but it's something to be paying attention to.
All right, I see your point there. The only way I see it not following through with the candle, like you said, was if that's when the market, the big people decide to start their liquidity sweep, and then all bets are off, and then it just tanks, or it goes up. That you can liquidity sweep in either direction. So, but I'm not looking to be clear. I'm not looking to take the short.
Okay.
What I'm looking for is it to come down to the 107 area, hit that, or somewhere in there, hit it and ride it up.
Gotcha.
We'll call it the Pedro method.
The PM method. Oh no, that'd be Pedro method.
Yes,
yeah, PM.
Chuck, you're right. Finish off this Bart Simpson. Right. It is a little bit of a Bart Simpson here, and if it runs down, if it just dumps over the next hour, or at least 10 minutes.
And to our new viewers, that's what he means. See this right here? There's a Bart Simpson here, and come down. And then this is the eye, boom. As you know, I'm a great artist. You all can see that that's definitely Bart Simpson.
Actually, that's more Beavis and Butthead. I see people in my bunghole. Kaching says, sorry, I was busy looking at coolers online. Good for you. Thank you, Kaching.
Yes.
Thank you. That helps us out. Raise our click-through rate. The higher our click-through rate, the more people, not buy, just the click-through rate. The more ads they put in I have like this little auction thing on the side here, and I get to pick which ones based on price. So the higher the click-through rate. And now's the time when we need that little Philippine village there. Click, 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 click. Wow, they've got 20 million clicks on this, but only 15 views. I don't get it. Oh.
The problem is
Beavis formation is way more in depth. Exactly. Exactly.
All right,
Pedro. You know what? Let's. You know, I don't have. We can't go until 2, maybe like 1:40 or so today because I got to drive to Toronto again. But the theme of the show, which I'm only going to talk about one part of it briefly. The other part we can talk at length about it. Is I didn't make a special one. Usually I put the thumbnail up. I didn't make a special one today. I just used it. Cronos booming.
Yes, let's
booming. And I alluded to altcoins not doing much. And at the same time, Cronos booming. XRP actually dumping off today. Not dumping off today, but it floundered, tried to rise up today. And then the sell-off came. So on one hand, we have Cronos getting the big money. Obviously, the big news from the Trump organization, saying that they're Trump Cronos fund, treasury fund thingy, whatever, is going to invest. Currently owns 6 billion Cronos tokens and is setting aside a credit line from. Yes, they've already bought it. At least that's what the articles say. They said they've acquired them under previous deals, which I would have to imagine was over the counter since the thing didn't go crazy.
Yep. Well, we talked about how Cronos was getting volume though, which is really interesting because we've been paying attention to Cronos here for a while, and obviously because I just saw their business plan, I understood who was leading it. I was paying attention to the volume coming in, and I said, "There's something afoot here. The game's afoot, right?" And as we started seeing it come from literally that price of 8 cents, and watching the volume, we've talked about this now. Like the volume has just consistently just been more than what we've seen, just besides what we saw in May and April, which was the low, which was that 6 cent. Now, this one, I was hoping that we could get down to that 4 cent area, but we never cut through that. But in that same sense, that 6 cent area, and this was the area that it was previously at that 23 cent area here, right? Like, and I said, this is when Alexander, not Matt Alexander, Justin Wallin, and wow, Chris. Don't hate me, brother.
Chris Alexander. Crypto Swamp Creatures.
Yeah, our sister show there. What was so interesting is as we were sitting up at that 23, 22 cent area, I said, yeah, we'll probably see it come down to that 10 cent marker. That was this area right here, 10 cent, 11 cent area. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, we'll see it. I go, most likely we'll see it get down into that 6 cent area. And that's where I'm looking to be checking things out. And sure enough, we saw it come down, shocking. And
shocking.
And so this is another thing I want to pay attention to here. We've talked about Crow getting back up to this 54.46 area. And then from there, it's literally all-time highs. There's nothing here because everything else is literally been traded through. Even this area right here, that 54.46 cents area, is traded through. So the reality is if this thing takes off, there's not a lot of resistance anywhere else, as we're saying. And so I honestly think, like I talked about my price target at the beginning of the year for Crow, I think a $3.50, potentially $3 mark area for Crow is a real area, right? Like, and people are like, that's nuts. Not when you consider the full scope of them. Now, if it continues up, it will come down. There are always pullbacks. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead and look at the 5-minute chart there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, perfect. It's a great example. There will always be pullbacks. Yeah, like, so you don't need to chase it. Like, it's part of the market structure that when you start to see it push up, like what we've been seeing over the last few days, expect a pullback, right? We talked about this area here of that 30-cent area of what we wanted to see, right? Is I wanted to see it push through this area here on that weekly zone. I actually took it off today, and I'm gonna have to put it back on. It's funny. Boom. Where are you at? Here you are. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, little buddy. We're gonna put a nice little pretty thing right. This was a supply zone, right? Remember we were talking about this at the beginning of the week, and I said this area right here, I want to see it. Pardon me. I know I'm doing a lot here. Forgive me, my peoples. No, it was.
We would expect no less from you, Pedro. In fact, if you chinsed out on something and just like, wow, whatever, people would be like, is he still sick? Is he all right?
That's funny. Well, I want you guys to be abreast of what's happening and what is moving, right? And I think it's wrong for me to do that, and if it's, I got to know when too much is too much. That's my issue. Okay. All right, so you can see here that this was the zone here. We talked about that 25-cent area and then the 30-cent area here acting. Oh, that's what it was, the 30 cents. I apologize. Yeah, I was right. I was like, that's not right. The 30-cent area here acting as resistance. And I said, what I want to see happen here is it hit this level here, pull back, right, from this level here, and then see it close above it and then push up. And that's kind of like what I'm expecting. That's what typically happens, right? Now, granted, people are going to sell off. This is what's happening. But I do think that we will just consistently see a push up, push up. Now, my biggest concern is this, is as this thing starts to really pump, right, that people are going to start to really FOMO here and really just get her as the pullbacks happen. And so I want to encourage you, when you see the big push up like this, expect a pullback, and then see it consolidate, and then put the next leg in. And that pullback will allow you to be able to not freak out saying, oh, I missed it. Oh no, it's the end of the world as we know it.
And we know it.
Yep. But at the same time, I want to encourage you guys to sit there and say, hey, look, this baby's going to pull back here. And when it pulls back, I'm going to take some of that dry powder that I've been saving on the side, and I'm going to buy in at this. And, and if I can get a 30%, 40% right off the jump as it pulls back, right, then all of a sudden you just feel more comfortable. So don't ever, especially when we're coming into this bull market here, right, you can buy in on the leg up. I have no problem with that. But just understand, you always have a good pullback because institutions, they like pullbacks. They can't get the full position in at where they're trying to put in. So one of the things that they always do is they'll go in, they'll put a certain amount, they know it's going to go up, and then they wait for it to come back down. And when it comes back down, guess what? That's when you jump in, you get back in, and you're a happy camper because you're not sitting there chasing, or you get the high of the dopamine because it shoots up and then it comes back down. You're like, wah, wah, wah. Right? No. We don't want that. We don't want no wah, wah, wah. We want it to be like right? Like we're waiting. It's like or dun 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 dun.
Not Jeopardy.
But you get it. As we're waiting, and we're not chasers. We just kind of watch and wait. And if we miss this one, there's going to be another one, right? This is when we're gonna start seeing deals. We've been talking about this, right? Like helium, a lot of these big name top 30, top 50 coins, there's going to be institutional pull to them because they've developed a lot, and institutions are going to sit there and go, oh, really? Let me get some of that. So anyways, so just encouraging Crow is doing really.
One would think that it was Friday today, but it's not, ladies and gentlemen. I swear to you.
It is one day before Friday, so that means it is Friday in my head. Alrighty, check this out. 3.6 trillion. JP Morgan says Bitcoin is undervalued versus gold. Check that out. That is definitely news from JP Morgan. I liked it. I liked it a lot. The CFTC to issue clarifications allowed U.S. users to trade on offshore crypto exchanges. And that to me is like, please kill that bill and allow us to trade on offshore exchanges. Come on, my people. We've been talking literally for months about this. Actually, more than months. Years. And it just, bro, how long, I'm going to fly to, no, I hate flying. It always messes me up for a couple of days. Dude, it does. It really, you don't think it does when you fly?
It does if I fly on a 15-hour flight around the world, but.
No, man, it doesn't matter, bro. When I used to have to fly in the military, dude, I hated it.
I know, it's like they send you all over the place. And not on, well, they may have not sent you on great planes either. Here's your cheap ticket, sit in the back by the bathroom.
I hated it. But the idea behind this is that what we're looking at is that we're seeing it push up, we're seeing it come down. In that same sense, expect that pullback and then wait for it to push back up again. And I'm excited about what we're seeing here with Crow. Crow was typically the first real altcoin that pumped in the last bull run. I'm expecting to see it. And we talked about this even a few weeks ago prior to that, right? Look, I'm paying attention to Crow here because Crow was the first one that pumped, right? We talked about that. My exact vernacular was that. What's going on here? Why are we...
I have a frame from last night's show from the Space Lounge last night.
Okay.
And for those of you new viewers, we have to do 5 hours of premium content for Rumble every month. And so all week I've been doing 1 hour shows at night to satisfy that. And it was mostly just Chuck and I bantering about stuff. And while I'm talking here on the show last night, this thing pumped from 29 to 30, got up to like 36 or whatever it was. I couldn't even keep up with the graphic. That price graphic is from last night. It doesn't have, usually it has the Zulu time on it. I don't know why it doesn't. Weird. And
let's go right here.
And it was one of those exciting times where even though I'd been poo-pooing Cronos, and the theme of it was is Cronos a scam because there's a massive sell-off.
Wait. You have, but not the show and not the trader. Make sure we clarify that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I never poo-pooed the show.
Oh, I said, yeah, I poo-pooed. I was just poo-pooing it because every time there's a rise in it, there's a massive sell-off.
But I never.
I said,
I never.
I used
did.
the word I.
Make sure you say I, not because I don't want to be associated with that. Because I was always saying good things about Crow because I knew. Go ahead.
Poo poo. But as I was bad mouthing it, saying getting ready for the sell off, it shoved it in my face and went up another 60% or something like that. And over here on the side, the red arrow is wrong. I was having an arrow problem last night. It was in 24 hours. It was up 70%. So like when I poo pooed on XRP. The XRP said, "Oh, here you go, Tom. Bend over. And how about a 6x for you?" And Cronos is doing the same thing. But it was fun watching it live last night happen because the price of Cronos hadn't in the past 2 years. It hadn't moved. When you zoom the chart out there, it's all flatlined before this past couple days, and so it's exciting seeing it move that much. And the money coming into it and the attention it's getting. It doesn't matter what the project is. It's always exciting seeing those big green candles because the FOMO kicks in. You're like, I want to buy this. And of course I didn't, thankfully, because now it's trading at whatever it is, 29, that type of stuff. So, but it was fun. It was fun talking about it and fun watching it happen live on the show last night. Pedro says, repeat after me. Yes, sir. Repeat after me. Fire Chicken, working on scheduling our first crash Carmen Crypto's wedding.
Let's go. We're crashing. Let's go. I'm down. Absolutely. We've got a zero counter.
Oh, I forgot to reset that again. Anyway, it's time for me to make a little cash here. Very little, but at least it's something. Ladies and gentlemen over on YouTube and the other platforms, stand by during this commercial break. We'll be right with you. You got to keep the show lively and entertaining for everybody.
Yeah. What's interesting is when you look at XRP and what's actually happened with XRP, again, I don't think this is I'm not poo-pooing this, okay? But it's got to pull back. It's just part of the game. And then you consolidate, and then it explodes.
Wait, are you on Cronos or XRP?
Well, right now I'm on Cronos. I'm about to go to XRP.
Oh, you just said XRP, sorry.
Yeah, because I'm about to go there. Like, look, we see the leg up. It's pulling back. It's consolidating. And the part to be paying attention to, and this is so important, right, is you want to see where the liquidity is at. And right here is really where you see the liquidity at. You have the 100-day period moving average. You have literally a leg up midpoint. You can see here that you have body candles with no demand wick. So when it's sold off at this point, you then know, it tried to sell off. It could not push back up. So there's a lot of stops sitting right here. And so you can sit there and say, if we're at that 100-day period moving average in relationship to a liquidity area, you know that you can take advantage of this. And so with that, you can literally put a position right here at this level. Again, not financial advice, but it just makes sense. Like, look, it's right there. And so they're going to come down, and they need that liquidity so that they continue this thing up if they want to. And so that's where I look at to go, if you're, it would be beautiful if they could take some offshore accounts, exchanges, and allow people to be able to trade them. Right? i.e. the best one, and you can even re-up and get it going and get it called, US or Binance US. They were pretty awesome. I'm just saying, it's already right there. Just get them up and running again. Like, it wouldn't even be that hard. They've got everything going. Or freaking FTX. they still have all the software there. It's all right there. You just got to go on, right? Like, I'm just saying, throwing it out there. Do whatever you want. But this area right here is sitting at a perfect level. It's that 266 area. You have the 100-day period moving average. Now, you can trade this everywhere. This type of pattern as you can get. Crow is going to have something similar. It's going to push up. I don't think we're done seeing. It's only had 3 days push. It's not done yet. It's not. Anytime we've seen, let's look at Matic. Matic had the same pushes. I mean, anytime it's had huge pushes down at the low levels, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, this is, it's not done yet. Look at Cardano, boom. Where did we come back? Look, right here, my brothers. Like close. Look at the liquidity right there. Look at the 100-day period moving average sitting right here. You can go back and back test this. See the bodies, right? You had 2 liquidity areas right here. You had this baby right here. You also had this area right here. So you could have played either or. You're waiting. Remember the yellow line, as many of our viewers know, is the 100-day period moving average. You have your 50-day right here on the, and I talk about the 100-day, the 50-day, the 200-day moving averages acting as areas where liquidity sits. And so when you have a liquidity area, plus, and let me actually make these the correct colors so that everybody knows. Right? Like you can see here that as we're sitting here, it's very clear. And that is exactly where they came down to, right? They came down to the liquidity areas. And then they got what they needed to get, which is people's stops. And then they continued up, right? We're right here. I'll put it like this is a good example. You see this? This is Cronos. It's not Cronos, it's Cardano. But this is Cronos right now. Okay? You can see it. Boom. You're like up, right? And if you look at it, it's not exactly, but you can see the same format. It came down. We saw the original push up. It came down to an area of support. Then you can see here, we're playing up, shot up, came back down, shot up, came back down, shot up, came back down, right? And then you have the explosion part right here that comes in. And that's this baby right here. And look at it. You saw it come in. You saw it explode over the last 2 days. And then look. See, it hits resistant area. There's supply of actual real sellers sitting in an area. You saw it sell off. Boom. And then, most likely, we're going to see it consolidate. And then, boom, again. Right? Then come back down. Right? Hits the liquidity area. And here's the thing. It doesn't change. This is the dopest part in chart trading. It doesn't change. It may look a little bit different because they're seeking different types of liquidity, but it's pretty much the same thing. And I love it. And you should love it because it's like your wife saying, "How you doing?" Or it's like your husband saying, "Let's talk. I want to hear what's in your heart."
How you doing? Wait, who's that? Wait.
or for a man, if you're talking the woman, you're like, "Let's talk. Let's have a deep, intimate, emotional talk where we can really connect." Right? Like it's the same. Nah, it's good for men. And so in the same sense, this is the part that's so beautiful, is it doesn't change. It will be the same way through all history because trading charts is emotion. It's all emotion.
Trying to work that out in my system too.
Well, you work it out in your system, but it's on the reason why you're able to work it out in your system is literally because you can see it on the chart. Like this chart right here that I'm pointing at, it's all emotion. and it's
because for every person like me who's doing everything he can to work emotion out of it and follow a logical plan, there's a million
retail FOMO degen. Pedro, I have a timer on just because I am going to. I am practicing my commercial breaks, not the ones I'm reading. Just when we do longer shows, I need to. And I know we only have 15 minutes left in the show, but I'm still going to run a commercial break here. Ladies and gentlemen, not to pay the bills, but just to give Pedro and I a quick break. And for those platforms that run automated ads, that's going to happen right now. So we'll be back with you in 3 minutes.
Freaking love it, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking by us. Well, I didn't really need to run that, but I have to practice these things now and now in this little shorter show. But anyway, as one of our viewers, namely me, said, cool stuff, more professional for sure. but as we ramp up the quality of the show, I like to get these things right. I'm working on the Pedro, you've heard me complain the past couple of days about some technical stuff. Believe I've got many of them solved. Got a new build of the software from the people, and it seems to have fixed a bunch of things. Anyway, we've got I've got the timer on there, so that's what's left in the show. So let's pick up where we left off. But with we talked about Cronos now, and what I wanted to bring into that was the XRP thing. XRP is seeing its big boost, boosted. And I am no longer poo-pooing the XRP. I'll poo-poo Ripple, the company, but the XRP token said, Tom, you are wrong. And I admit that.
Price is wrong, Tom.
Price is wrong, bitch. And but it's time for Ripple to do one of two things. To publish some information about how much cash they're bringing in from operations,
or it shows that they can sustain themselves, or they have to raise more money by selling this thing off. Usually it's to the tune of a couple $100 million a quarter or something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. They've got a big payroll, and they've got a lot of expenditures. I mean, they paid $3.5 billion for a company just last month, which is somewhat amazing. So they've got the credit to do that, and they've got the cash flow to service that debt from selling XRP, unless they have some income coming in from operations. And I don't mean like a little bit of fees, like, we made $2 million in fees on the ledger. I mean, they need to bring in some serious cash. And I don't know the financial thing of that about Ripple and if that's successful or not. What I do know is that one of two things happens. They come out and say, yeah, we don't have enough cash, so we need to sell XRP, and the party's over for a little while until they come back and say, oh, we signed up the country of Slovakia to run their whole country on it, and then the XRP army drives it crazy again.
Yeah.
So from a fundamental perspective, those things need to happen. From a chart perspective, as they say, show me the chart, show me the news. What is the chart telling you there?
Easily, they need liquidity. And so from a standpoint here, as Tom has coined it, idiot box, right? and I guess you could say that this is a, what do you call it? Not a flag, a channel. Is that what you call it? Who's the guy you still watch? We had him on. Great show. Loves Jesus. Crypto Lifer. What was his name?
Right.
Sam. Yeah. Sam, like, he likes the channels, and I understand, because they do work a lot of times, but they only work when we're dealing with, you have real liquidity. You have to have that real liquidity that it's seeking, or it's just going to go sideways and it's going to fake you out. And so that's where you're always trying to see what's happening. And so when you can tie in an idiot channel, or in like the idea of, not idiot, that's the wrong word, in a channel area, as if it's going to come down, you want to tie it with correlation with institutional buys. And so that 100-day period moving average correlated with liquidity pool, that the next leg down here on this actual channel should be, and I very rarely draw channels. So Sam, if you're watching, please correct me if I draw this wrong. I'm serious, man. Forgive me. I used to use channels years and years ago. I mean, when I first started trading, I started to use it, but then just my style it became different.
Well, for a lot of people, they make sense. They're like, you draw a box or a channel, and it's like it's moving in this stuff. The odds are that it's likely to continue moving in it, which turns out not really to be true. There's so many more factors that go into it.
Yeah, there's a lot there, but it makes, from a, come on, dude, don't be a douche. There you are. Next, here we go. All right, so you want to draw this one down here. Here we go. You've got a few areas here on that channel here, and I probably did it wrong, but oh, that's cool looking. What's that? Sorry. So you can see here, it's starting to hit that area. So the next leg down is either going to be right here, or that 200 period moving average. Now, the 200 period moving average is not by itself, it is a liquidity pool, but it's at an area where you actually have a flip zone-ish area. And you can see we had a previous high, we sold off, created a new higher low, and then we saw this sell, the push up into the next leg up. This area right here, it's around the same area of that 200-day period moving average. And so I would sit there and look at this going, okay, you do have a flip zone here where sellers are stuck in a position. And so a lot of times they'll just hold until price comes back down, tests that area, and then get out of that position and then push up. And so this is that's why I use flip zones. Now I use flip zones in relationship to higher time frame moving averages that correlate to institutional buying. I use the correlation of institutional fundamental ideology correlated to the chart analysis. And so that's why a lot of my stuff is that correlates there so well, is that I just don't blindly sit there and say, oh, because it's doing this. No, there is a fundamental analysis of it that I understand when it comes to a chart trading. Institutions use 50, 100, 200-day period moving averages, the 150 cross, the 102 cross, or the 50 and 200 cross, right? These are the death crosses or the golden cross that people talk about. And so it's important to be paying attention there. And so those are the areas that I think it's going to come most likely down to. And it's really important to sit there and say, all right, how far is it going to go? Is XRP done? No, it is not. It is not. Unfortunately, it is not. I pray that they change their business model, and I pray that they stop the craziness, right, of the CBDC systems and how it's. But is it finished as a community? Is it done as a chart? Absolutely not, because of the community. The community behind it is only growing. So this is where I have to sit there and say, well, I missed out on this. I'm not going to miss out anymore. I could have been buying XRP. Thank you, Shogun at the Shogun and his show called me out and said, bro, you could have been buying it at literally 20 plus cents, like 30 cents, and you did not. And so you lost out. And I was like, he's right.
Right.
Am I right? He was right. I got it. Respect. Thank you for calling me out, brother. So shout out to you, my bro. But you can see here, I'm waiting for it to pop in and hit this lower area. I'm gonna buy a little bit of XRP here. I'm hoping it comes down to this area here, which is that 247, right? I can start dollar cost averaging as it comes off. And potentially, if I would love it if we could see it come down to even this 250 area. If I could see that 250 area, that would be great for me to sit there. And you can see here, it's potential, but most likely not, because you can see, even though it's more of a seller, we have lower highs. Look, your seller volume right here is dropping. So most likely the buyers are stepping in, right? And as they're bringing it down, they're going to come in and it hits these low points. People are going to buy it. And then you see, you're going to see it go up. But where is it possible to get to? Could we see $1 trillion XRP?
All it needs is about a 7x from here. Not even a 5.2x.
5.2. Well, like I said in the beginning of this year, I can see a $9 XRP. That's my goal for the end of the year here. And $9.
Well, that would be
XRP.
$1 trillion XRP then.
Well, it's not a 5x, but it's a potential. It's potential. We could see it. So who knows? And is there going to be a massive sell-off? Yes. Yes, there is. But will you be able to buy it when it sells off? Yes. Will you be able to take advantage of it when Crow hits certain numbers? I'm taking profit, man. I'm gonna all right, thank you for that.
But Pedro, before we celebrate the $1 trillion XRP, we got to celebrate having some our coffee refill here.
Oh, tell me about a coffee.
Have you still not tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit has just dropped. Only 1,000 units, and we know they've been selling, so they don't have as many anymore. You're getting 3 things, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You're getting the smooth medium roast, and you're getting the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash at all. You're getting all single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free coffee. Plus, you're getting a gold spoon clip. Why? Because freedom isn't served on plastic. Nope, it's not.
Favorite part.
You're also getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. You're also getting a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up right here on Rumble. Wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, Pedro. Okay, it is worth it.
Absolutely. Oh, you're asking
Going for
me.
the assist there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Going for the assist.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
For those of you who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler.
It is.
Ah, he gets it. Yes, sir. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. As always, there's a QR code here. Go visit it, click it, hold your phone up to your smart TV, click it in the comment section. There's a link to learn more, and if you're watching this on the replay, there's a link in the description below. Thank you to 1775 Coffee for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Ladies and gentlemen, not only is that the end of the commercial ad there, that is also the end of the show, because I am getting in the car and I've got a lot to do. I've got an hour's worth of stuff to do in 10 minutes.
Alrighty, my friend. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate every one of you. All gassed up as planned. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to ask, please drop it in the comment section. We'll definitely get to it and we'll answer it. If not, in the comment section in the next on Friday's show. So thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate and love every one of you guys. Be safe, and we'll see you again tomorrow at this same time, same Bass channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live. Isn't it so wonderful? Yes, thank you very much. Anyway, we'll be with you again. Make sure you tune in, make sure you visit our advertisers, make sure you buy Bitcoin, and make sure you look out for the big trade so you can make the big fat bags. That means you need to come back and listen to us on this show all the time. Anyway, enjoyed it. My name is Tom. That's Pedro Garcia over there. We'll see you later.